Hey and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's begin with our daily news. Arsenal are trying to sell a special international player, but he is resisting so far. Arsenal are pushing hard to sell their Belgian midfielder Albert Sambi Lokonga this summer, but are facing some resistance from him. The Gunners see little to no future for Lokonga at the Emirates and are keen to sort out his future as they look to make a number of new signings this summer. However, according to The Sun, Lokonga is pushing back against a potential move to Burnley as he wants to be absolutely sure he is making the right call. It comes after Lokonga had an underwhelming spell with the Crystal Palace last season. The Belgian moved to Selhurst Park hoping to get minutes, but struggled to impress. Lokonga has never quite got going since signing for Arsenal in a £17 million deal. Burnley boss Vincent Kompany is a big fan of Lokonga and has previously spoken of how special a talent the young Belgian is. The Sun claims Burnley are willing to buy Lokonga, although a loan deal might end up being done. The midfielder wants to be completely sure he is moving to the right club. With that, he is pushing back against Arsenal until he is 100% certain. Not every transfer works out, and this is one of them. Lokonga has never quite looked up to the level required at Arsenal, and there is little wonder they are trying to sell. It's interesting to hear Lokonga doesn't quite know if he fancies Burnley, though. Vincent Kompany is obviously a manager who likes him, so if he goes elsewhere, it will be an odd one. Overall, Lokonga needs to get a move sorted. He is not getting in this Arsenal side, and with even more players coming in, he is going to be further down the pecking order. Journalist says he'd be surprised if 20-year-old Arsenal player isn't loaned out this summer. Journalist Charles Watts has admitted he would be surprised if Arsenal youngster Marquinhos wasn't loaned out once again this summer. Watts spoke in his latest YouTube video as he provided an update on Arsenal's summer business. The Gunners have already wrapped up their first signing of the window as they bought in Kai Havertz from Chelsea this week. Arsenal are also expected to snap up Wast Ham's Declan Rice and Jurriën Timber, with Mikel Arteta keen to bolster his squad over the coming weeks. Marquinhos spent the second half of the last campaign on loan at Norwich City after a difficult start to his Arsenal career. The 20-year-old registered two-goal involvement in 11 championship appearances, and Watts expect him to head out on loan once again this summer. Watts was asked if Marquinhos could force his way into Arteta's plans during pre-season. He said, Marquinhos, I think, will go out on loan again. I will be surprised if he sticks around, especially with Reece Nelson signing a new contract. I think Marquinhos needs a good season. Obviously, he spent the second half of last season at Norwich. I think he needs a full season somewhere. It doesn't have to be in England, it could be somewhere abroad. Marquinhos struggled to make an impact at Arsenal last season after making the switch from a Brazilian outfit Sao Paulo. The winger impressed in his Europa League debut, but it quickly became apparent that he wasn't quite ready to feature regularly for Arsenal. Of course, the Gunners have since snapped up Leandro Trossard from Brighton, and it's difficult to see Marquinhos breaking into Arteta's side anytime soon. Another loan spell in the Championship would benefit the talented youngster massively as he bids to adjust to life in England. TalkSPORT pounded back's tremendous Arsenal player to be brilliant next season. Arsenal star Emile Smith Rowe has been back to have a big season for the Gunners next year. Pound Darren Ambrose was speaking on TalkSPORT about the 22-year-old. Emile Smith Rowe had a tough season at the Emirates last year. He failed to start a single league match as injuries scuppered his entire campaign. Smith Rowe has 3 senior England caps, but was called up to the under-21s squad for the European Championships this summer. It's given the attacking midfielder a vital opportunity to get some minutes under his belt ahead of an important preseason. Smith Rowe has taken full advantage of this opportunity so far. He didn't start England's first game, but came off the bench to score a last minute goal. The Arsenal man doubled his tally for the tournament with a fantastic strike against Israel. Ambrose has backed Smith Rowe to have a big season at Arsenal next year. Given the options Mikel Arteta has available, he is going to need to impress quickly before the season starts. Speaking about the 22-year-old, Ambrose said, first two games, two goals in 81 minutes, and his goal against Israel was tremendous. The play that they interchanged through the midfield and he blasted it into the bottom corner, it was a fantastic goal. I think it's a big season ahead for him at Arsenal, but he is really showing his qualities in this tournament, and I expect him to be a really important player. Smith Rowe is undoubtedly very talented, but he needs to be able to string together several appearances in a row. He doesn't look to be hampered by any injuries right now on international duty. Arteta will be desperate for it to stay that way before he rejoins the squad in a few weeks. Arsenal face Declan Rice deal twist amid a new demand at the Emirates. Arsenal may now have to accept a sell-on clause in Declan Rice's contract if he does make the move to the Emirates Stadium, journalist Paul Brown has told Give Me Sport. The England international is edging closer to a move to Arsenal during the summer transfer window. Rice has been heavily linked with a move away from West Ham United this summer, and his final destination appears to be North London. Italian journalist Fabrizio Romano recently confirmed that Arsenal and West Ham are close to a final agreement on the payment structure of the deal taking Rice to the Emirates. Brown has suggested that both parties have remained confident that the minor details won't negatively impact the end result of Rice joining Arsenal. The journalist believes that West Ham have demanded that a sell-on clause will be inserted into the deal. Speaking to Give Me Sport on Monday morning, he said, West Ham have kind of dug their heels in a little bit in negotiations, and they still haven't agreed the payment structure and all the add-ons. I think there are several things that still need to be negotiated. Both parties seem pretty confident that they won't turn into a sort of stumbling block that could affect this transfer going through. But I do think that West Ham have a few demands that Arsenal are yet to meet. There is even talk that they want a sell-on fee included in the deal, which I don't think was part of the original negotiation at all. Sky Sports journalist says Arsenal have more or less signed Yerry Timber. Arsenal are close to completing the signing of Yerry Timber, with the deal all but done and dusted for a fee of around £39.5 million. Timber has been on Arsenal's radar all summer, and talks have ramped up in recent days, and now it seems a deal to bring the Dutch defender to the Emirates is set to be announced. According to Sky Germany journalist Florian Plettenberg, the deal is almost done, and Arsenal could announce it over the next 2 days. Taking to Twitter, Plettenberg confirmed details of the deal, which will see Arsenal pay around €46 million in total, including bonuses. Timber's arrival will follow the announcement of Kai Havertz last week. The Gunners are also working hard to finalize a deal for Declan Rice and hope to be able to announce that one soon as well. Timber will likely be the first choice at right back, as Mikel Arteta looks to use Ben White more centrally. Indeed, there has been talk of a move to back three, with Timber an option as a wing back or even inside midfielder if needed. The Gunners will have spent more than £200 million if they get the deals for Timber and Rice announced. Arsenal fans are already loving this transfer window, and it seems things just keep getting better. Timber's arrival is a good one. It solidifies a defense that needed help and gives Arteta even more scope for movement and changes of shape next term. In today's market, £40 million or so is not a lot either, and for a young international defender, Arsenal might have got themselves a bargain here. Arsenal eyeing another West Ham player after agreeing deal for Declan Rice. Arsenal are closing in on signing Declan Rice after agreeing a £105 million deal with West Ham. but he is not the only West Ham player they are after. According to Express, the Gunners have now set their sights on their fullback Bennett Johnson as Mikel Arteta continues to strengthen his squad. He was previously linked with a move to Everton, but Arsenal have now joined the race to sign him. Johnson, who serves as a backup right back to Vladimir Kufal, featured prominently under David Moyes last season. The 23-year-old made 17 appearances for the Hammers, providing one assist in the UEFA Conference League. The versatile defender is primarily a right back, but can also play as a centre back if required. His current contract with West Ham expires next year, and they could be forced on cashing in on him on a cut price deal after the club failed to come to an agreement with him regarding a contract extension due to his demand for high wages. Arsenal now decide they won't pay £45 million for incredible player this summer. Journalist Ryan Taylor has suggested that Arsenal are reluctant to pay £45 million for Southampton midfielder Romeo Lavia this summer. Mikel Arteta looks set to land a couple of huge signings this week as Arsenal close in on deals for West Ham skipper Declan Rice and Ajax defender Yerry Mina. The Gunners have already moved to snap up Kai Havertz from Chelsea, with the German expected to play in a deeper role at Arsenal. Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka are both facing uncertain futures at the club, with Arsenal expected to reshape their midfield this summer. Romeo Lavia is one name that has been heavily linked with a switch to the Emirates Stadium. Indeed, Fabrizio Romano suggested yesterday that Arsenal could move for Lavia should Xhaka and Partey end up leaving the club, but it seems the Gunners are reluctant to meet Southampton's demands to sign the player. Taylor shared what he knows about Arsenal's interest in Lavia, while he also suggested that Chelsea and Liverpool could make their move for the midfielder. He said, "As for Lavia, from what I understand, Arsenal are reluctant to meet the £45 million valuation set by Southampton, and at the same time, the likes of Liverpool and Chelsea, and there has been talk of United, but I don't know much on United's interest. But I definitely know that Chelsea and Liverpool are interested, and what they have told the player representatives is that if the asking price is lower, that they would be potentially ready to sort of formalize their interest." Lavia has been labelled an incredible talent after an impressive debut season in the Premier League with Southampton. The Belgian midfielder completed a switch to the South Coast from Manchester City last summer and is already attracting interest from a host of top clubs. Nevertheless, Arsenal will most likely be focused on outgoings should they complete deals for Timber and Rice this week. Arsenal now ready to make another massive bid to sign incredible 23-year-old. Arsenal are now willing to increase their bid for Real Madrid midfielder Aurelien Tchouameni this summer. That's according to the Spanish source Defensa Central, which provides more details on the 23-year-old's future. Arsenal appear to be gearing up for one of the biggest transfer windows in their history. Versatile playmaker Kai Havertz has already arrived for £65 million. It appears as though Declan Rice and Yerry Mina are both close to joining him at the Emirates as well. Rice looks set to break the transfer record in the Premier League for a British player, with West Ham demanding £105 million. However, they might not be done yet when it comes to making big money moves. Arsenal are now willing to increase their bid to sign French international Aurelien Tchouameni. The midfielder is one of the most exciting midfield talent in world football. It appears as though Mikel Arteta is desperate to add further quality to his existing young squad. The report from Defensa Central suggests Tchouameni has now become Arteta's priority objective in the transfer market. Arsenal were initially willing to make an €80 million offer, but may now increase that to €90 million. If a deal for Tchouameni did go through, it would take Arsenal's spending to well over £200 million this summer. The 23-year-old has a growing reputation in the game, and Rio Ferdinand was very impressed when watching him during the World Cup. Given how much Arsenal have already spent, it seems unlikely that a bid for Chouamini will be made anytime soon. However, it would be a huge statement of intent if they did try and pry him away from Real Madrid. After the signing of Jude Bellingham, the Frenchman may feel his place in the team is at risk. Luka Modric and Toni Kroos can't go on forever though, and Chouamini looks set to be an important part of the Real Madrid team for the foreseeable future. It remains to be seen if Arsenal will sign him. I will be uploading daily Arsenal news, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.